We move on to the final game on the card. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Pub Sports Radio. Remember, there will be bye weeks, and when they do, the show won't be quite as long. Monday, September 20th, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers. We'll start with the market move here. The Packers open up as minus 10.5 point favorites. That's moved to 11. This total has gone from 49.5 down to 48 or 48.5. The 3,555 tickets in on this spot. 68% of the tickets, 77% of the cash are on the Packers. Then we have 71% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the over, but the total is dropping, which is very, very interesting. Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We talked about what the Lions did to the Niners, for a long time. 38-10, they were down in the fourth quarter, and they showed a lot of heart. And we know that everything's changed in that locker room now that Dan Campbell's in there. He's changed everything, and they feel like there's hope in there, and they showed that in the fourth quarter. 23 points in 3+ minutes to pull within 8 points. It was nuts. Jared Goff, 38 for 57, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and, a very costly pick, of course. Hawkinson, career high, 8 receptions for 97 yards. Jamal Williams looked the best on the ground with 9 carries for 54 yards. DeAndre Swift just 11 for 39, but DeAndre Swift did catch 8 passes for 65 yards. This defense simply didn't get any pressure at all and ended with 1 sack. And now we talk about the very embarrassed Green Bay Packers losing 38-3 at the hands of the New Orleans Saints in Jacksonville. Rodgers, 15 for 28 for 133 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Devontae Adams, 5 catches for 56 yards. Randall Cobb just made 1 catch for 32 yards. Aaron Jones ran 5 times for 9 yards. A.J. Dillon 4 times for 19 yards. Their defense got no pressure whatsoever. They didn't record a sack. The Saints didn't even punt in the first half. We've seen Rodgers in situations like this where he has to tell everybody to relax. And this just seems like another situation where, he should be in control of turning this around. But the facts are in the offseason, he wanted out. Is there a change from the times the Packers have looked vulnerable in the past when you know that Rodgers wants to be there? Is there a change now? And what do you think of them being giant favorites at home? Bebsie, the Monday nighter, Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers.
Well, I mean, being giant favorites at home is funny because Detroit last week showed that they have some fight in them. They have some spark, that the guys want to be there. Green Bay, on the other hand, got absolutely smashed. And, I mean, Rodgers, look at the shots of him on the sideline. He looked like he didn't even want to play football. Now it's Aaron Rodgers, and he looks like that a bunch, and he's probably going to come back and throw for 4 touchdowns this week. However, I can't bet it. I can't back the Packers after a performance like that, after the off season that they've had. I also can't get behind Detroit because I know they're not very good. And like I said, I watched that game. I watched every snap of that game. The box score and the total or the final score did not show what kind of game that actually was. Detroit got dominated. Goff looked terrible for the vast majority of it. They couldn't do anything until the starters came out and Verrett got hurt. So, look, neither team is inspiring me to bet on them. Robert Tonyan props is where I'm going to look, and I was big on TJ Hawkinson. I think I picked him up in 2 of my 3 fantasy leagues this year. He was phenomenal against the Niners, and the Niners are excellent at covering tight ends. They have the best cover linebackers in the whole league, and they still couldn't stop him. So Hawkinson props, Tonyan props, that's going to be my look for this week. But zero confidence in either team, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Al Cervix says, I think the dysfunction in Green Bay is obvious, blatant. He's at war with his own team. I thought this was all settled with a new contract.
Yeah, and I think, there's guys like Adams who publicly defended his quarterback, but there has to be enough guys on that team that are looking at Aaron Rodgers being like, you got your new contract. Our team isn't bad. They went to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row. Now, them going to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row was interesting because they were not good in either NFC Championship game. They were embarrassed 2 years in a row in the NFC Championship, and it felt like they would be going in. But still, you went to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row. You have Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in the league. You have a new contract. You have Robert Tunyon. They signed your left tackle. Like, there were many years of Rodgers' career where he had every right to complain. They weren't spending anywhere near the cap. They weren't drafting him any weapons. This year was kind of like, what are you doing, man? If you don't want to play, don't play. And I think there's got to be enough players in that locker room who are just looking at Rodgers being like, I'm kind of done with this guy. So, yeah, I don't have a ton of faith in them. I think there's still so much talent there in that locker room. Obviously, there's a boatload of talent with Rodgers, but I got to see them come back. I think Rodgers is going to be fine. The guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be an absolute stud, but no confidence in this week. In theory, Green Bay should smash Detroit, but after what I saw in week one, again, I've been preaching not to overreact, and that's probably what I'm doing right here, but I'm off it.
Yeah, there's nothing appealing to me at this point. Makes me want to make a move. And we'll have a lot of time to break this game down as we go throughout the week. This total going from 49.5 down to 48.5 down to 48. Do you agree with the market move to the under?
Well, yeah, you kind of have to agree with it because if Green Bay plays half as bad as they did last week and Detroit is as bad as they are offensively, then there shouldn't be that many points in this game. But the only way that this hits the over is if Green Bay does what Green Bay should be doing and lights them up.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. We'll see. I'm very curious to see what the Packers do moving forward. And again, Rodgers has been here very comfortably and got them rolling every time. So will he do it again? Probably. But I don't really have interest backing them as this big of a favorite here to get this all started.